Hi, my name's Keith Parsons, and I'm going to give you some tips and hints on how to look better on Zoom. Kind of a home studio setup 101. You've heard this before: lights, camera, action. And I think we all should add a little bit about sound in there as well. So to get started, let's talk about lights. You could use your room lighting. I'll show you in a minute just what it looks like if I let my computer light my face. Or, as photographers have done for generations, they've used what's called three-point lighting. There's a key light off to this side that's the main light that's lighting the subject, you. There's a fill light filling in the side that the main light or the key light doesn't get. And then finally a backlight or a hair light to give a little edge so that it just looks a little better. So these three lights, key, fill, and hair, are what we need. I happen to have some lights that I can control from my computer, but there's a lot of LED lights available that will allow you to get a better look by lighting properly. Next up, you need a camera. You could go with a webcam. They even have some very nice 4K webcams. They're kind of hard to get a hold of now in this COVID time. But the problem with a camera that's a webcam, it's easy to go connect right up to your computer, but it has a focus that focuses basically everything in your room. You're in focus, the things you put in front are in focus. I suggest you get a better look if you use I'll call it a real camera, not a webcam, that has a lens that you can control. You'd like a lens that has a big aperture, because if I can go to a big aperture, that means I can have a shallow depth of field. If I have a shallow depth of field, I can be in focus and everything else can be out of focus. I can even do things like put something up close and allow that to be in focus, and then I can be in focus. So that's another thing that we can do. We can change your camera. I suggest a camera that you can have HDMI output. If you have HDMI output and a fast lens, it allows you to have bokeh. Bokeh is that look where the person's in focus. Here, let me move over to the side. The subject's in focus, but the background's out of focus. And in your world, you'd probably want your background that you're running to be out of focus. So it could be a little messy, but you want you to be in focus the whole time. If you do go with a HDMI type camera, you'll need something to take the HDMI out of the camera and convert it into a webcam. There's a wide variety of things that do this. Camlink from Elgato, they've been hard to find. I was able to find something called a HD 60S Plus that does the same feature. It was made for kind of gaming, but allows you to take an HDMI out and convert it, and it shows up just in your Zoom as another webcam. With those things, it allows you to get a nice picture and be able to bring it in as a webcam. Next up, I think you should have a green screen. What a green screen allows you to do is to be able to cut the background totally and replace it with a background that you'd like. You can get green screens that pop up, that come up from the ground up, or I have one that I just pulled down from the ceiling, kind of like an old-fashioned, projector screen you would pull down. The chroma key, either blue or green, allows you to cut out a certain color, leaving everything else that's there. Well, this wouldn't be a good recommendation if we didn't talk about sound. And audio matters actually probably more than the video look itself. We could go with dynamic mics, and a dynamic mic doesn't have any power nor amplification. The microphone itself doesn't. You have to take it over to a mixer or something that can convert it to USB and bring it into your computer. I like the sound of a dynamic mic myself. I also don't like having to deal with the phantom power of a condenser mic. But if you do have a condenser mic, they do have those that come in a lot of different form factors, and they can also go directly into USB, and they can pull their phantom power from there. So they also have microphones that, for us in the wireless world, look kind of like antenna patterns, where you can have a cardioid pattern, cardioid kind of like heart, it kind of comes out, and you can have super cardioid that go directly towards the person, or an omni which picks up more in the room. Personally, I like a cardioid or a super cardioid with a dynamic mic, so I pick up less of the room noise, less of the outdoor noise like a condenser might. You also need to think about where you're going to place the microphone. You can put a lapel microphone just on your shirt. Do you want the microphone in camera or out of camera? I happen to like mine. It happens to be right there, just barely out of range of the camera, and I have a little swing arm that lifts it up and out of the way. If you have a desk mount, that works too. You need to just kind of get it kind of close to your face. Sometimes it might show up on camera. Well, that's enough talking. Let's go and see what these things look like. Here, I'm going to show you some examples of what we do with lighting and focus and green screen to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Right now, have the lights on, my key, fill, and hair light are on. My green screen has a little light on, it's behind me, and I happen to be running a chroma key, putting this little kind of a Olin Mills photography blurry background behind me. That's the look I use for a zoom. It's not distracting, there's nothing in the background to show off, and allows me to just be me. And whoever's watching can just see me alone. So that's the starting. But what I'm going to do is turn all the lights off and then add them back in one by one so you can see how the loud lighting changes what we're doing. First off, turn off the green screen light. And then I'll turn off all my lights, and now we'll be sitting in the dark. I'm actually in a very dark room right now. All the lights are off. It's very dark, but my camera has a fast lens. Remember I said it has a lens that has a big aperture? Which means it has a shallow depth of field, which gives you that bokeh thing. It also allows you to bring in more light. And so even though it's dark, this seems to be working. Now, when I turn on my first light, you're going to see kind of a flash while the camera adjusts and adapts to the new lighting. So here is my key light alone. This is coming in from this side. Here is the key light alone. Key light gives you your main light for you. It does kind of have a sharp shadow on the opposite side, and you know that could be used for a dramatic effect, and people do use these with a single light. The other light I'm going to show, I'm going to turn this one off, is just the fill light. Now the fill light looks an awful lot like the key light. It's slightly different position angle-wise, and I have mine a little weaker, but the result is that the two of them together give you a nice even lighting on your face. So you'd like maybe a little shadow around the chin, but nothing, on your face too much. And you just want to have a nice even lighting. Now I'll turn those off, and so I can highlight and show you the hair light or the backlight. And it has a different job. Its job, well, in my case right now, it's lighting up my silver hair. By putting light on the top of my head and on my shoulder, it gives a nice clean edge so that the chroma key has a place to cut on. Additionally, it kind of, adds just a little something extra to show that the lighting was done properly. With all of them on together, you get this kind of look. Now, right now, this is the lighting, and there's no light for the green screen. So let me show you what, this is what the green screen looks like if I cut totally out. This is just me on black. The lights are on me, the green screen's working. Let me cut out the green screen for a minute so you can see. This is what's actually going on in the room right now. You can see there's some little shadows on my green screen, and the green screen keyer is taking that information, cutting out the green, and then replacing with something else. So if I turn it back on, I can replace it with black. But since I have this now, I can change it to replace it with anything. Since the green screen is cutting all the green out and leaving me left, I can say, I'd rather be on some wood right now. And I can be one kind of wood, vertical, horizontal. How about a fake green screen on top of a green screen, or back to that Olin Mills kind of look. Or if I wanted to, I could even just cut straight to black and have black alone. So the lights that we do allow us to light up the individual. The camera takes the individual and gets you in focus and everything else out of focus. The green screen allows for chroma keying, and a nice audio allows you to sound really good. So I think between all of these tips I just did, you'll be able to improve your own Zoom. Hopefully we'll see you on the web soon. Thanks.